Okay, so going back and talking about beginner bikes and starting out riding and everything, I'm a big proponent of getting something that you feel comfortable with to start. I mean, most people aren't going to be comfortable with a liter bike or even a 600cc bike as their first bike. It's just got way too much power for a beginner, in my opinion. Now, that being said, there's a lot of 600s that are also very good and are easy until you get into them, and they've got some range to them. I know a lot of people recommend the Ninja 650s and the anything in the 600 range of Ninjas, even some of the Suzuki GSXs. But my own personal opinion is if you haven't ridden before, you really need something that's not going to get out from underneath you like those bikes will. This bike is a really good bike, and it's not going to get away from you too easily. She's got some get up and go to where she, you can get somewhere, but she's not going to win any races, that's for sure. A lot of cars can beat this thing. I mean, just the other day I wasn't really trying, but I had a minivan keeping up with me too. So I mean, this thing's not designed to win races. This thing's designed to be an easy riding bike, and that's exactly what it is. Like I said, I normally don't recommend anything too big for a beginner, but this is actually a good bike for a beginner. I actually think this bike is easier than the CM400A that I had before. The CM400A was a smaller, lighter bike, and it did okay, but with this thing's lower center of gravity, and I mean, this thing's got almost twice as much power as that CM400A did. Gets almost twice the gas mileage that thing did. I really shouldn't say twice, probably 1.5 times. Because I think I got between about 50, 55, getting about 66 on this last tank. I've gone from 60 to 64 to 66 miles per gallon per tank that I run through this thing. So I mean, even miles per gallon I'm getting out of this thing is getting better. But I mean, this thing's just easy to ride. Doesn't take much twist of the throttle, you're gone. If you want to get into it and hammer on it, there's some there. It's not going to win you any races, it'll pass a slow moving vehicle, but I would definitely want some room to do it in. I wouldn't want to try doing what I've seen a lot of people with sports bikes doing. This thing's definitely not a sports bike. And the gear ratios are close enough to prove it. I think the owner's manual actually calls for you to shift into 6th gear at like 38 miles an hour or something like that. I think that's a little, I think it's way too low, honestly. This thing generally doesn't even want to shift into 6th gear until you're up about 50 miles an hour. Anything below that, it feels like it's bogging the motor down. I don't even like getting into 5th gear below 40, 45. And 4th gear is good, right at 35 miles an hour to me. I mean, 4th gear, we're pulling about 27, 2800 RPM at 35. And quite honestly, this is about where that motor, this engine wants to sit at. So when we talk about ranges, 1st gear up to about 17 to 19. 2nd, you can take it up about 27 before it wants to shift. 3rd gear is about 35 where it wants to shift.